But let's break this down here. His mother's an admitted communist. His father's an admitted communist. He's around admitted bombers that bombed police, blew their faces off, blinded them.
And the man in Hawaii that raised him, kind of discipled him, better word, Franklin Marshall Davis, was an open communist. I mean, nobody.
But that's what I mean. There's no one that isn't a commie.
Right.
I mean, people laugh, oh, commie's going to get us. The guy is open, redistribute the wealth, exactly what the bankers want. See, the poor little commies on the ground don't understand.
It's what he told Joe the plumber.
That it never gets transferred to you. It always goes to the international bankers.
Yeah, there's a handling fee that's a bit excessive.
Yeah, 98% of it. And then all you get is black uniforms and cameras and checkpoints. And now he's going to have all this left covered. Now, I know there's been election fraud. I know both parties are bought and paid for by the New World Order. The New World Order just plays different sides off against us. But I mean, this Barack Obama stuff, who could make it up? All the anti-gun stuff and the communism and the bombers and the criminals and the mobsters and the...
Well, you can see why he wants gun control, because he knows that there will be opposition. And let's go back to, you've obviously talked about Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals. This is what the guy taught at the University of Chicago. He represented them as an attorney. He gave them millions of bucks.
Yeah, Saul Alinsky, close buddies with Barack Obama. And folks, you can't make this up. Larry even has a copy of it. Break down. I mean, again, another one of these guys. Tell them.
Well, Alinsky was a communist who saw that it would be more effective, rather than charging the barricades with a couple of flintlocks, better to just take the culture from the top down. This is something that has been very effectively put forth by communists in this century, well, in the 20th century, now 21st century. And so Alinsky wrote these rules for radicals to teach how to lie, how to deceive. He said, stop looking like hippies, dress like I do. He looked like Mr. Peepers, harmless little guy with his bespectacled face. And that way you can infiltrate. When Obama briefly had a job in New York City at a law firm, he described himself as, I felt like I was behind enemy lines. Well, that's right out of Saul Alinsky. Alinsky is lie to get whatever you want, because if you've dedicated your book to Lucifer openly because Lucifer figured out how to lie to get power, then that's exactly what Alinsky's all about.
Well, let me stop you. Let's go back over that. Every time you really study Lenin, or you study Stalin, or you study the East German leaders, or you study the communists here, and I've known them personally, they'll be wearing big red pentagram shirts. They'll be Hail Satan right in front of you, and then laughing, and the communists always call themselves anarchists. They're into deception. They're into layers. But when you get to the core, they will tell you, I worship Lucifer. This is a Luciferian operation, and a bunch of them dedicate their books to it. The Theosophic Society dedicates it to that. I mean, just the public just can't get their mind around it. Explain it to them.
Well, what Alinsky did was to get a bunch of disciples like Bill Ayers, who still is a professor at the University of Chicago in education.
Yeah, let's make this clear. He can blow cops' faces off. They killed people, hundreds of bombings associated with them. And then, remember, Bill Clinton let a bunch of them go?
You betcha.
With his I mean, they're not playing games, folks. They'll line your family up and gun you down in a minute.
They will, when they have the opportunity. They've been relatively transparent, apparently passive lately, because they, again, rules for radicals. There's another way to do it that's better than getting yourself shot. Wait till you get the guns and then you do the shooting. And so that's what the game has been. And Ayers saw that if he was part of a cultural revolution from the top down, which is something that was probably first put forth by an Italian communist, Gramsci, in the last century, studied by Hillary Clinton as well as Saul Alinsky. Then you get to the point where you fool people into thinking that you're just a progressive social reformer, and then when it's too late, you got all the levers of power, bang, then you let them have it. That's what's underway. Ayers has been transforming Chicago and national education a la Cuba. The guy is an open communist. He's even on occasion called himself a communist.
And the elite, the big money, is putting it all behind Obama. there's a good chance that they're going to give them full power. I mean, all the experts I've had on, historians are saying the central government's gearing up for mass purges. And they just hand the power to Obama and they do it.
It could be an extraordinary shift to dictatorship in this country because Obama has clearly showed by a lifelong attachment to either Palestinian terrorists or American terrorists, communist, violent people, and all of them rather exceptionally clever, I would say. Look how far the guy's gotten with really a pretty thin resume.
Yeah, but here's the deal. It doesn't matter what president it is the last 20 years. More power. They're getting rid of posse comitatus.
Yep.
The governor, as you know, 3 months ago in Illinois said we're going to use the National Guard for door-to-door gun confiscation. I mean, it's really happening. And so all these right-wing neocons said, oh, let Bush do whatever he wants. We kept telling them, hey, that power is going to get passed on to the Democrats.
That's right.
That's going to get handed over. Here we go.
The question to ask when our guy, quote unquote, is president is, would you really want that power in Hillary Clinton's or now Barack Obama's hands? And if the answer is, well, that'll never happen, would you want it in those hands? And that's what was never asked. Well, we were just handing power over, and there it went. So, yeah, it's been a bipartisan groundwork preparation for this moment, and if Obama pulls it off, you can. Here's a scenario that bothers me. The polls at the moment are tight. Let's say they're accurate, which may or may not be true. If they were, say the guy loses by a few points. Typically, even with Reagan, people would not tell the truth to pollsters, and Reagan, first time out, was supposed to lose by 4 or 5 points, won by 10. What if something like that were to happen in this election? I'll tell you, look at Kenya to find out what's going to happen in January and February in this country.
Because it was the Obama office, senatorial office, advising them on how to do this.
Absolutely. They were aware of the plan. They didn't disavow the plan. No, they concurred with the plan. And this is right out of Saul Alinsky, frankly.
And there's a reverse option here as well. The neocons could use the riots to bring in their own martial law. If it's McCain that wins. I mean, we're in between a rock and a hard place here.
We are between a rock and a hard place. The one difference is that the poor Christians, the Kikuyu in Kenya, still carry on the tradition of British disarmament of the people. Well, they're trying to do that here, but they ain't got there yet.
And gun sales are up by 10%. The people are buying guns and ammo till you can't even find them.